Okay, it says we're live on YouTube, so if I get feedback, I may have to close that window, but okay.
Welcome, everyone.
Here.
We're ready?
Yes.
Okay, welcome, everyone. Today is Wednesday, October the 13th, and I'd like to call to order the meeting for the Historic Sites Board.
Oh, we are getting feedback. Hold on, let me close this. There, okay.
Does anyone have any pecuniary interest, any conflict of interest with today's agenda? Adoption of the agenda for October the 13th. We need a mover.
I'll move it.
David, thank you. Seconder? Sandra? Resolved that the agenda for Historic Sites meeting for October 13th, 2021 as presented be approved. All in favor? Carried. Adoption of the minutes. Mover. This is for the Historic Sites meeting of September 15th.
I'll move. It's Jamie.
Jamie?
Yeah.
And a seconder?
I will.
No.
David?
Let Sandra have a turn.
Okay, Sandra. Stephen?
I already had a turn, but.
Sandra? Resolved that the minutes of the Historic Sites Board meeting of September 15, 2021 be approved. All in favor that we're here? Carried. And next is business arising on our list.
I don't think from last meeting there was anything arising. I just wanted to make a note to Sandra that I have reached out to Fort St. Joseph and Parks Canada, and they are getting us information. I haven't got it yet.
Excellent.
That was outstanding from the meeting before.
Okay. May I ask a question, Madam Chair?
Of course.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Thank you. Ms. Fisher, thank you for doing that. Do you know if they will come and do a presentation, or are they sending a report to you? Is there an opportunity that they can be a guest to do a presentation, just in case we have further questions?
Well, I can put that forward to Parks Canada. The gentleman that's pulling together some stats and a report on their activities is going to send it to me direct, and then but I will check to see what his contract date ends and what the possibilities are.
Oh, okay.
I know that particular staff person does return back to Thunder Bay for the winter months to Fort William there. So
okay.
But I will check with Parks Canada.
Okay. I guess I'm more curious that, knock on wood, I think society is going back to normal, hopefully 2022. And with the announcement in the paper today that the border is going to be opening, hopefully the spring will be more tourists. And I'm just curious to see what events they are hoping to plan for 2022. And I know, Kathy, you have done this many times, linking your events into their events and just making it more like a regional historical tourism, community, if that comes out the right way. So, yeah, so just hypothetically knowing what events they're thinking of for 2022. And then Sue today, our partner media, may be interested in help promoting some of those. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandra. Next on the agenda is accounts.
Madam Chair, everyone received the sort of the August 30th, 31st, statement,
Financials.
the financials. What also I did for you is give you a little bit of an update. I gave you a detailed one for just to compare. It's not official, but for end of September, which was nice to see that the CMOG funding, our operating grant, did come in. And also some more of our summer student funding. So it's nice to see that extra revenue compared to the end of August in your financials. But the official one that you have to pay attention to for the minutes and to pass a resolution on the expenditures is the August statement that went out with the package. Is there any questions on either to me?
Kathy, it's Jamie. Are you expecting any more grants to come in, or are we kind of done for the, I know you got some grants for the fall rendezvous, but.
Yeah, when we get to Curator's Report, I've got a summary on grants for you.
Oh, there you go. Very nice. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments about the financials or anything specific, Kathy, you want to add?
No, as just on financials that every month I do report to the city on our loss of revenues and our expense savings due to COVID. And so we seem to be, with the grants coming in, seem to be doing okay. We've never fully gone back to 7 days a week with full staffing. So part-time wages were adjusted on that. And there are other things that the travel and training, you know, we had upped that so that staff and board could attend conferences, but they were all virtual. So things like that, there was savings done. And so that's been submitted monthly to the city on from my end anyways. And other than that, there is further update on other grants that I'm going to give under the Curator's Report.
Okay, thank you. So now we need
Actually, Madam Chair.
Sandra.
Yeah. I don't know if it's appropriate to ask the question now or wait until Kathy gives her report, but it could be my eyes. Do we have any more updates on fundraising? And it could be my eyes, but in the financial reports, is there a separate line item for donations, or should I wait for these questions to be asked when you do your update?
Well, to answer your question through our chair, that was something you brought up, Sandra, at actually about 3 or 4 meetings ago. And I'm still in the process of researching the Canada foundations and all of those things that we can hopefully pursue.
Okay.
There is not in the accounts a separate line item. Currently, fundraising from like our brick sales go directly to the trust fund.
Right. Okay.
And then that builds, and in the past you've used the trust fund to leverage other funding sources provincially and federally for things like restoration projects.
Okay.
Or capital construction.
Okay. So it sounds like in the near future you'll have a thorough update on this particular item. Okay. Great. Thank you. I'll keep bugging you about that.
Good.
Okay, we need the board members, someone to move, a mover for the year-to-date financials of August 30th, 2021. Jamie, thank you. A seconder.
I'll second.
Stephen. Oh, we'll have Stephen this time. Resolve that the Historic Sites Board approve the expenditures year-to-date. All in favor? Carried. And next is the Curator's Report. We're all anxiously waiting.
I'm going to see if I can okay, so let me just now share my screen because I have lots to say today, and I just did this up, so I apologize that it wasn't in your package, but it will be with your minutes, so that it will be also posted on the city's website for attached to the minutes. So I did a review actually for the city on different grants, and it made me think that, oh, I haven't really given you the full total picture of right at this moment where we're at with our grant applications on different funding. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, so we did receive an application, and we've applied, and it went to council, as you know from our last meeting, for the MAP grant, which is the reopening fund, federal monies, to help specifically museums assistance program. So if that is approved, it's like last year when we applied to this, it is a 10% of the operating expenditures. So we're just waiting for, the application has been submitted. We're waiting for an answer on that. As I said, CMOG has now been, the funds have been received, and that has been deposited into our operating grant revenues. Our application on the Francophone grant with the provincial government was declined. So we won't be doing that project over the winter. That was a lot of translation and also providing programming in French language. Our construction and restoration project, just so everyone knows, the contractors are on site today, and the foundation work will begin any moment. So we will have, as you can see, the contractors and the archaeologist on board, but we did also receive the extension on the funding from the province. Our summer grants, the final reports have all gone in, and so the holdback on any of those will be forthcoming now and completed for 2021. So there is a couple more coming up, and I'm going to leave this as we get further along in the next couple months. I'm thinking that the Museum Assistance Program again has this new one, digital access to heritage, and I'm thinking perhaps we should look at it for March 1st for next year. And it really needs, we really need to think about our digital strategy here at the site. I think with everything that's happened since COVID hit, and us having to immediately think in a virtual world and pivot as best we can to do school tours on Zoom, and we have done a lot of work this summer with our summer students in digitizing the collection, but we're still not there on any of that. So I think we need to think about a strategy, and then this funding has 2 intake deadlines that we can access. One is coming up very soon, so I think we'll wait. That's my recommendation. Our affiliate organizations also are applying and have applied for funding. So our Friends of group did receive the local festivals grant from Canadian Heritage for Fall Rendezvous. And so Fall Rendezvous was presented in September. And they are still waiting on a decision on their live arts grant through the same organization. And if that occurs, then we'll be working together all winter to next March on the stories steeped in stone of the Ermitingers and everyone else here on site, to bring and to have live theater, live music, whatever, and some of the stories of Sault Ste. Marie. Also, another organization we are sort of working with is Living History Algoma, and they have 2 projects. Of course, they always are working on oral history Sault Ste. Marie and keeping the interviews and recordings going, but they're also now working on heritage moments, which will be sort of a little video of a particular person that's relevant in our history, and trying to also look at a cultural podcast. And they are also, that group that I work with is documenting heritage at Shinwalk with the intergenerational survivors. So they're doing a lot of oral histories there as well. And both those groups are looking at applying at October 30th to the city's Arts and Culture Assistance Program. So our next event coming up is Halloween on Queen with the Downtown Association. So it's October 30th. Now, because we're going to be under construction, we're going to do our best to do as much as we can here in the Heritage Discovery Center. And if we can, and depending on the weather at the time, out on the lawn. So currently we have some partners coming, and Tomica for the theater and Cavana Studios in the 1812 gallery to do a photo area. And there's a couple more that we're thinking of as well. So I'm waiting to see the level of construction that we'll be at before we extend too much to our Halloween on Queen. Now, the next thing as the curator that I have to be the bearer of news is that it's time we look at policies and our strategic planning. I just laughed, sorry, at Sandra's face. So,
actually, I love strategy. I feel bad for you guys.
We spent a lot of time to do the strategic plan in 2018 as a final document coming out in 2019, but it took from 2016 to get through that. So it's time again to start looking at that. So I'm thinking that come the next couple meetings, we're going to have to get some information out on the current strategic plan to you, and so you can take a look at it. And then we'll have some small groups of board members and staff to take us through some start of review on the strategic plan. Last time there was some public consultations. There was other things that were taken into consideration. Futures SSM had a visionary strategy then. The city was working on an official plan through Shape the Sioux, and the downtown was working on their plan. And at the same time, the province released Ontario's cultural strategy, plus the OMA had released several documents. One was their strategic plan plus diversity and inclusion.
Kathy,
So
can I ask something or add something? Just real quickly?
sure.
Susan?
Just on your strat plan, when you're forwarding the documents, maybe you might have it here somewhere. I might have missed it, but on the strat plan update from the city from 2021 to 2024, probably should include that to make sure that things are just for awareness for the committee's reference.
We will, so we'll include that when when the last strategic plan gets sent to everyone as well,
Thank you.
so that we can align with the pillars of the city.
Yep.
Thanks, Brent.
Yep.
These were just an overview of what we considered in the last one, and this will go with the strategic plan to you. And this was sort of the ending statement on, we had actually some short-term goals, long-term capacity needs, and 3 main focus directions in the last plan was community engagement, asset and collections, and sustainability. There's that fundraising again for Sandra. So it's time to start thinking again then, as we do appeal to some of you to, if you're interested, to join us on strategic planning review. But if everyone can sort of think of what you know about the Ermitinger Clerk site, what you'd like to know, and if you have great ideas on strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to make note of. We always ask our board to kind of sit and take a look. And it's a good opportunity if you don't have information on the site and you want more information. I still have binders here for some of you in my office that I have to get to. So, and along with strategic planning are our policies that have to be reviewed. And I just want to give you a note that according to our CMOG, which is our operating grant from the province, we meet these 10 standards as a provincial museum, approved museum. And with each of these standards, we are reviewed with, first of all, a policy on those, and then a number of other practices and what things that we implement on site. And they will, I'll give you an example. So for collections, they will ask for this policy, which we last reviewed in, not 1018, sorry, 2018. But they will also ask for different things that we do on the collection storage. They'll ask to see our environmental control sheets that we can print out from the HVAC system and the computers, and different things from the hydrothermographs. They'll ask about how many items are in the collection, how many have been digitized. There's a whole survey of questions just on the collection standard that goes along with the policy. CMOG has not required anything to be handed in during the last 2 years because of COVID, and that a lot of museums in the province were shut down and were not, a lot of them didn't have staff or volunteers even working. However, with the reopening, I believe we should be prepared for next year's application. And I'm suggesting that this winter, as a board and staff, we look at some of these older ones, because I can't predict what they will ask for, but if we have some of these older ones here, that conservation, physical, plant, community, human resource are some of the older ones, that we can take a look at reviewing and updating ready. So we usually take a look at these in January, February. So we're ready to go for that application in the spring. So I just wanted to provide that information to you today as a reminder of what we have to do over the winter months. So we will be undertaking those within strategic plan review and policy review. Now we get into the nitty gritty, why you're here as a board member is on that, the strategic plan and policies and direction of the site. And then I just wanted to let you see, this is what I've been doing this month is I participated in a workshop with the OMA on succession planning, the education knowledge requirements for museum staff, and what they can do for professional development opportunities. But it was really interesting. This is what a curator does in today's museums that are small to medium size. If you looked at what a curator does at the ROM, they're strictly doing curatorial duties, which is like collections. So a curator in Northern Ontario at the museum or the Ermitinger site does all of these things. And this was a survey. Now, I'm suggesting, as you can see, this does not represent what I do for you, because I think these two top ones might move down towards the middle more. But these are sort of global things that all are encompassing in the job here. And one of the things that the OMA is really now pushing is that every museum start to think about what will happen if the curator left. Are we ready? Succession planning, and what kinds of education and knowledge would it take for someone to fill that position. So I just wanted to bring that forward, that I've been working with them on that. And not that anyone needs to know, but I'm having a big birthday this coming week. And so I am starting to think about maybe succession planning in a few more years. So anyways, it was really interesting about what all the different layers. I know I do those things, but when they spelled it out, it was quite obvious. So that's just an update. We have policies, strategic planning to do, and the next event is coming up for a small event for Halloween on Queen. And again, grant writing and report writing is always a big part of the role here. So, and working with our partners. I'm going to stop sharing. So is there any questions? I really did that fast. I will be forwarding to you, as I said, that report that I just gave you, plus strategic plan information and policy as we get into maybe little working groups with staff as well. So yeah, the hard work's coming.
Kathy, could I ask a couple questions?
Jamie?
Yes.
Jamie? Yes. Last fall, I attended a couple of virtual conferences, and on behalf of this board, and I'm wondering if those conferences are happening again. I don't even remember what they were.
You attended the OMA, the Ontario Museum Association virtual conference.
Oh yeah, will that be virtual again?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm waiting for the definite. I believe it's in November. It's a half a day and a half a day together. And I think you also attended the Canadian Museum one.
Yes, I did. That was amazing. Yeah. So the money that you're not spending in your training and travel budget, that money could be used perhaps if any board members are interested in attending. these conferences?
Yes, so because we have a training budget, when we get notification on these types of things, even the OMA did in March, like 2020, they did an Indigenous Symposium, and it was all presented um, by people on like Manitoulin Island and places. And it was an amazing conference, and it was all virtual as well. So as I get notification, I will reach out to you. We have used the training dollars to pay, and sometimes there's group rates, so that we can do. And then also they've allowed us, because we are institutional members, they've allowed us to have a login that we can share even. So Jamie and I actually shared one login. We only had to pay for one registration on the virtual conference. So those opportunities are coming, and I will let you know. And then also Jamie took notes, so that might be something we can share as well from those last sessions.
Yeah, I could send those around again because it's possible the new members didn't see them. I hadn't thought of that. I could look on my computer. Okay, my second question is, well, it's not really a question, it's sort of a comment. Ontario Culture Days seems to be doing some kind of local promotion for fall events, and I'm just sort of a kudo to that promotional effort, because I'm seeing it on Facebook, and I don't know whether you're resharing it on your Facebook, but it just seemed to be the Old Stone House is included, in the library and the Bush Plane and the museum. It just seems to tie everybody together into one promotional campaign. So I thought that was good. And my last question is, well, it's not really well, it could go under new business, but so I'm thinking that this is the month for the Heritage Award for the city. And I wonder if we have any ideas for things, or if anyone has ideas for nominating someone for a Heritage Award. I think the deadline is the end of October.
Madam Chair, I can just answer Jamie on Culture Days. The Culture Days actually was coordinated with a Sault Ste. Marie hub. And in the past years, we have done like a live in-person sequence of events between all of the institutions, and some of the collaborative groups as well. And that's all this year, last year and this year, done virtually. It's all listed, as Jamie said, under Ontario Culture Day. There is a Sault Ste. Marie hub with all of us listed: the museum, us, the art gallery, the library, and a few others. And it really was just, we tried to coordinate through a hub so that if people search Sault Ste. Marie, all of them would come up. And we have promoted, not lately, not in this past week, but we have been promoting and sharing that information through our social media. Yeah. That was all on the update on Culture Days.
Okay, thank you.
Any other comments or questions for Kathy? Thank you for sharing all of that, Kathy. Next on the agenda is Municipal Heritage Committee. Do you have anything to share?
That would be me. No, this would have been a good spot to mention the Heritage Award deadline. And I'm trying to remember, we had a meeting last week. Sorry, my mind is a bit of a blank. we did 2 months ago. No, in September, we did the property inspections. And that will probably come up on the November agenda as something that will be reported to City Council. But yeah, other than that, unless anybody has any questions, I can't think of anything to add to that. The Heritage Calendar is still available for sale. And I think Virginia told me that copies were provided to the City Council members in September, so they now have copies. Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll move on to any new business. Thanks, Jamie.
You're welcome.
I think I covered my new business to you under the curator's report.
It was detailed, but very good. The next meeting then is Wednesday, November 2021. If there's no questions or comments, we're going to adjourn. So we need a mover.
I'll move.
Sandra, thank you. And someone to second.
I'll second.
I'm sorry, was that Stephen or David?
I think both simultaneously.
Okay. And I think I called Brent
Dave,
Stephen.
David can have this one.
Apologies.
I'll let Dave have this one.
Okay, Dave.
Actually, Madam
Resolve
Chair.
that this meeting now adjourn.
Actually, question before you go. What was the
Sandra.
date of the next meeting? What was the date, please?
It's Wednesday, November 10th.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Maybe November or December we could be, who knows, meeting in person.
That would be nice.
Happy birthday, Kathy.
Happy
Early
birthday.
Well, thanks.
Yes, happy birthday, Kathy.
Yeah.
Have a good week and I'll be in touch with everyone.
Okay. Thanks, Kat. Bye.
Thanks, Kathy.
Have a good day. Thank you.